How's it going, guys? Got another Subaru video for you today. I drive the Baja, or Yeti as she is known as, a couple times a week. And lately I've been noticing that under boost, the fuel pressure starts to drop off and it runs lean. I've had this happen before several times on different Subarus, mostly the Bajas and sometimes the Legacies and Outbacks because of the fuel pump assembly and the way it's engineered. And today I'm gonna swap that out, basically putting in a new fuel pump, but I have a pre-made assembly that I'm gonna drop in. I can show you where the common failure point is. That way you kind of get an idea if it ever happens to you. It's always the first place I go to when it starts happening because it's just pretty common. So let me show you what I got here. I always carry spare parts when we take Yeti up into the snow with the mat tracks on. But this is something I've had set aside for a while. It's ready to go. It's ready to drop in. And it should solve all the problems. So, this is a Baja Fuel pump assembly. It's all plastic or nylon. Everything on here is pretty much brand new. This came off of a very low mileage Baja. I've replaced it with an AEM. I replaced the fuel pump with an AEM pump, an E85 pump. It's a 320 liter per hour pump. It should do just fine for the setup that I have on here. And once again, I'm running a Forester, a 2000 JDM Forester STI turbo on this setup, which is similar to a VF39, but it spools up faster. So the failure point, I don't know if you could see it, is right there where the fuel pump goes into the assembly. There's a piece of hose or an O-ring or whatnot in that area, and that's usually what fails. It'll get a crack, or it'll deteriorate, or it'll wear out over time. And since I run Yeti strictly on E85, this is most likely where the failure point is. So I'm going to do a little video here, an install on the fuel pump. And hopefully that fixes the problem. All right, that went pretty good. I got hung up on the fuel level sensor or sender, whichever you prefer to call it. And this is a really old Ditchworks 65C, and you can see how it's corroding here on the outside. This is one of the first generations ones that's probably not rated for E85, so my guess is the internals are starting to fail on it. The gasket or hose or whatever it is you want to call it looks pretty good. It's hard to tell. I'm not going to take it apart right now, but I will eventually stick an AEM unit on this and keep this as a spare as well. So okay, let me show you guys where this failed. You see this hose here? It's E85 rated, SAE 30R9. Even though it's submersible rated for E85, it does shrink over time. So what ends up happening is in this assembly here, it's supposed to have a tight fit and it's just really loose. So your fuel pressure will go down when its hose shrinks. So that's the problem I was having in boost. The pump is still good though, but here's the OEM style piece that's supposed to go there, and you can see this one from a previous setup failed as well. So I have a bunch of these on hand, and I hate using them in E85 because they get hard as a rock and then they just disintegrate, and it can leave you stranded if it totally blows out, but for the most part you could still get around. And the hose that I'm talking about is this stuff. It's SAE 30R9. That's rated for submersible E85. And this is kind of my spare fuel parts bin that I've got here. And I did put in an OEM style gasket on the new setup. So let's prime it and start the vehicle and see how it goes. I'm going to prime it a couple times and then we'll try to start it. Sounds like it's creating pressure, so here we go. Good fuel pressure there. That worked out great. I got to put everything back together. Just got to put the cover on and fold the seat down. So get that going. Seems to be running just fine now. Just a heads up. That same gasket is eventually going to fail, just like this one did. So I'll have to order some more of these, but you get the idea of what's involved in that fuel pump assembly and what I've been doing to fix it every time it happens. So that's going to be it for this episode, guys. As always, if you like this video, give me a thumbs up and subscribe. I appreciate you taking the time to watch it, and stay tuned. I just got all the parts and pieces I need to get the condenser installed. Hopefully the weather stays good this week. It was pretty dry and sunny today, but I'm running out of daylight and I need about 3 hours to complete the install of that condenser on the cab here. So I'll catch you guys next time, and take care. Bye-bye.